All right. As we resume this conversation, I wanted us to start by listening to what the Deputy President said, that people are using certain sources of the papers in the city.
Watu ya River Road wamekuwa wakinitafuta. Nasema sasa wewe naibu wa rais unalalamika nini? Tumesaidia watu wengi. Tumesaidia fulani, tumesaidia fulani, tumesaidia fulani. Rais, hawa list hiyo nitakupatia ile nimepewa ya wale wamesaidika.
All right, well, they laugh, but I think it's a very serious issue that actually there's a market where people can go and just buy whatever paper that they need. And I'll get back to you, Mheshimiwa Hassan, but Deputy Speaker, so we are in this situation, and again, you look even at how we elect our leaders, and you're explaining that you have to go to the institutions that are mandated to verify whether certain papers are correct or they are not. But even then, so what can the government do? If indeed what the Deputy President is saying, that there are people that have the fake papers, never mind, the High Court not long ago, I think about 2 or so years ago, indicated that you do not need a degree to be elected a governor, and I think also the same case as president, because you're using the same criteria that a president needs to qualify to be a member of parliament, a governor needs to qualify to be a member of the county assembly. So the degree is not a requirement.
Yes, okay. Yes, it's true that, for example, to be member of parliament, you do not require a degree. I think for governor, you do require a degree in our books at the moment. But the issue is not that, okay, if a member of parliament doesn't require a degree, but you go and acquire a fake certificate, that's still a criminal offense. But this also brings us to the question, how did we get here as a country? It's because we have an obsession with degrees. Kenya put a lot of premium on education. And so for many jobs that don't even require degrees, we keep saying that we need degrees. If you remember during President Moi's era, he closed down most of the polytechnics and teacher training colleges and converted them to universities. So everyone began to think that you need to have a degree. Hence the reason why people started to print certificates, degree certificates, and get fake certificates, because that's the only way you could get a job. I'm happy now that the country has changed that, where we are now saying you can be qualified by experience. Our technical vocational colleges now are taking people from the Jua Kali sector, where you have learned how to be a mechanic on the job by apprenticeship, and you do not have any formal training. You're able to be assessed by the technical vocational college and be awarded a certificate. But now we are teaching people how to be able to acquire certification without being fraudulent. If you are somebody who have great experience in management and grown up through the ranks without having gotten formal education, you can then be awarded those degrees and so on. In the past, before law school, what used to happen is many people acquired their admission to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya without having a formal degree. One of them is actually a very renowned senior counsel, Honorable Paul Mwite. Paul Mwite received his call to the bar as just through apprenticeship, and was recognized. At that time, you had to have served under a senior lawyer for so many years. Even without degree, after some time, you could be made an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Right. People like the former Chief Justice Chunga also went through the same process. So if we had those kind of avenues, we would not have the situation where everyone needed to get a degree. Right. But one going to acquire a fake degree is lack of integrity. And integrity is a requirement for one to be a public officer or a state officer. But also, what can the government do? I think at the moment, anyone, they should, as he suggests, let's have an amnesty. Anybody who has a fake degree or certificate, you're given an opportunity to resign. Under amnesty, where no one will come after you. If you remain in office and you're found to have that fake degree, then those are the ones who can be charged, who can be, whether recovery proceedings and so on can be done to them. That way we'll clean the system neatly without overloading our system. And the third suggestion I would have is let us go the way the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education has gone and the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education under the Ministry of Education has done. Right now, there was a time people were printing KCSE certificates and KCPE certificates, but from River Road, as Honorable Gachagua says. But now, that's why we are asking for all school-going children to be registered under the NEMIS system. And then you'll see that now certificates, so that when you appear even on the examination day, you can't send an imposter to go and sit the exam for you. Because that's what used to happen in the past.
Right.
You know, I remember growing up, we were saying, well, exam. That means you didn't sit for the exam, you sent some clever guy to sit under your name. Now you cannot do that because there is very serious checks as to confirm that you are actually the person who is sitting in the exam room under that name. Right. And you'll see that the KCPE certificates now and the KCSE certificates have a photograph of the owner. And where someone has an identity card, it has your identity card number. And it has security features on the certificate, which is linked to your index number. Yeah. So if we can do that, if that system can be done by universities.
Imagine what we have to do to cure just our bad manners. Yeah.
But just think about what I was at the Electoral Commission and we had to cure bad manners. Yeah. That is why we have the most secure ballot paper in the world. Our ballot paper has more security features than our banknote. Our result paper at IEBC has more security features than our banknote. Why? We are the only country who have 10 fingerprints in our biometric system for elections. You know, usually two fingerprints are enough. Yeah. But we've had to use a very expensive method to cure our bad manners. But unfortunately, if that's what we must do to bring integrity and sanity to the country, then we have to do that.
All right. I just wanted to mention that in September 2022, Justice Anthony Murima said that you do not require a degree to run for MP. Yes. And even governors, actually. Governors do not require degrees to run for governorship. You just need to have the same qualification as an MCA. In December of that year, the same Justice Anthony Murima indicated that you do not need a degree to run for presidency. That's just what I wanted to mention. And take a look at the feedback that has come to us on this particular conversation. At Citizen TV Kenya, at Sam Gituko, the hashtag uses Debre. Kora Kenyan saying this morning, Sanixon Dugire, if those with fake certificates are performing well, let them be. Actually, that's what CBC is all about. That is to produce holistic individuals with competencies and skills necessary to succeed in a highly competitive world. Engineer Lazaro, you're saying that government shouldn't rely so much on just academic papers. Big no's. Some of the degree holders are incompetent and only being assisted by junior staff in their departments. Remove only incompetent people without applying which hand in mind. Frank Orinde, fake certificates in government is deeply entrenched. Until we eradicate our person mantra, will not be able to deal with the vice conclusively. Lack of political goodwill is the other reason we are unable to address some of these issues. Babu Michael, you're saying the president, to me, just made a political statement. If he is serious, he should start from his own cabinet because people saw most of them to have questionable qualifications and abilities. This has come out to be true. They are failing terribly. Leonard, you're saying it pains me when the president asserts that there are people occupying offices with fake certificates, yet I'm here jobless with Bachelor of Education, graduate of 2017, Mathematics and Business Studies. They should be given an ultimatum to leave those offices. Corruption will kill this country. Arisa Abuga, we are playing politics with a very sensitive issue of certificates. It will come back to bite. Why is government handling this issue casually? With a level of corruption, other institutions such as universities